We as actors, I think, have to have a childlike imagination. So strong we can convince ourselves that that is our reality. Trying to be interesting, I don't think that's unless it's called for in the scene, I'm trying to be interesting to her or that person because the scene calls for it. But if I'm just trying to be interesting, I'm probably going to be like acting a bit. I want to be interested in the relationship. I want to be interested in what's going on in the scene, what I want in the scene, what happens if I don't get that in the scene. And how it looks, how it comes out of me, I don't know. It's not even my business. Just let it be. Well, that's all you got, really, right? You got to deal with what's there. You got to deal with, not just with your partner, you got to deal with, you're doing a play and a shelf falls down. It's not supposed to happen. And you've probably seen productions where you could tell something just happened that wasn't supposed to, and the actors act like it didn't happen. You got to use everything. You got to use what's going on. You got to use what's going on in you that particular day, what your partner's given you, what's happening around you. You have to use what exists. And sometimes you can use what exists instead of what you were using for your preparation because that's stronger in the moment. It's real and it's happening. And it's producing emotionally what the scene calls for. So you want to be loose. You don't want to be so precious with it and you don't want to be so dependent on it. I love to work with music, but I don't want to be all dependent on it that if inevitably when I need it, my battery goes dead or something. I can't go into a panic. It's like, oh shit, how am I ever going to do this? I needed that song. You know, if I needed that song so bad, then I'll hum it in my head. There's no such thing as nothing. There's always something. It may not be what you imagine the scene should look or sound like, but I don't know. I don't have that much of an ego that I think my choice is the only way and the better way. And that's why you have a director. And the moment you try to give more than you have to give, and you try to overcompensate for what you think that person should be doing, then you're the one that gets caught acting. I wouldn't do that. If you're professional and you take the job, then you got to find a way to do that. But it could be a situation where you spent more time with the character, and that's a reasonable discussion to have with the director, because you've probably gotten to know the character better than the writer as well. And if I felt that I was being asked to do something I didn't think the character would do, I would definitely voice that. But if the end result is, this is, why we're paying you, and this is the result I want, and I'm the director, then as a professional, I think I have to find a way to make that happen. You experiment, you rehearse, but you have to narrow down your choices, and the choice has to be personal, specific, interesting, and active. Don't hold on to it. It's so you don't come in empty. It's to put the actor in touch emotionally with what has just happened. And me, myself, if I'm working on a script, I start from the back of the script or the back of the monologue and go forward, and I go over my choices at the different beats to make sure they still hold meaning for me. And for me, it's like starting a car on a cold winter's day. I want to make sure the engine is going to turn over, but I don't get there and race the engine. I just want to make it feel it grab at my heart. And then when I get to the first moment, the biggest thing we have to do, I think, is to trust that the work that I've done is there. Pair in that first moment, and then let it go and just work moment to moment with my partner. And if I've chosen things that are personal and meaningful to me, I've planted these emotional landmines that when I cross over that section in the script, they will explode with meaning. if you need it, you know? If you don't need it, if you pick up a script and you have an innate feel for it, then you don't need to do anything. That's not normally the case for an entire scene, perhaps, or if I have to repeat it, or if I can't, I'm doing a love scene with somebody and I just can't stand that person and I can't see anything in them lovable. I need to swap them out with somebody else, so I use substitution. It's that magic as if they are someone else, and then I endow that meaning on that person or that object or that place. And then for me, it's as if I'm there, I accept it. So, but it's there when you need it. Whenever I'm working on a scene, I like to, at a certain point, throw the script away, or if I'm working with actors, have them throw the script away and use the script as a blueprint and improvise the scene. Not use the words unless they come organically. And through improvisation, it allows me to find behavior and the emotional life without the restrictions of the words. And then when I know why I say what I say, why I'm doing what I'm doing, then I learn my lines by rote, without meaning. I read a script a few times. I pull out facts that I should know that the author's given me. I break it down into beats, which are entrances and exits and emotional changes in the piece. And I make sure I know what I'm doing in that section. Not how I'm going to act it, what I'm doing, what I want. Meisen talks about doings, others talk about objectives. What's my objective in that scene? And I go through the script. I make choices specific and personal to me. And if I have chosen things that are personal and meaningful to me, I have created these emotional landmines that will explode with meaning as I pass over them. Now, if I know what a section means, a beat means, I don't have to swap it out with something else. If I just get it, I know it, I understand it, I don't question it, I trust it. It's for those other moments where I'm not sure, or I can't just relate to it, or, you know, I'm talking about how much I love my father, and that choice doesn't work for me, so I gotta swap it out with someone that I truly loved in that way. You know, and they become like these personal landmines. I mean, that's my own term. It's the best way I think I could describe it. It works for me. I tell my students that they need to direct and write so they can take control of their careers. They're not just leaving it up to getting that agent or manager or having that casting director in that casting director workshop see us. If this is your passion, you have to find, there's no excuse for unemployment as an actor. There's reasons to not make money doing it or to go broke doing it. But if this is your passion, well, it's not good enough to just be the actor. And then I'm dependent on somebody else's script and somebody hiring me. So I have to empower myself. And I need to protect, and I would add producing to that too. So you got to write, produce, and direct, and act. It isn't really an ego thing, it really is just the truth, because I'm applying these principles that I've learned that I feel I value and they work for me. And I just pulled what made sense to me and along the way added a few things. So I'm like a chemist. I'll take a little dash of Meisner, a dash of Strasberg, and Adler and Chekhov and me, and that's it. But it is about living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. It's about no acting. It's really about no acting. You're not going to learn how to act. Hopefully you can learn how to be.